You cannot perform any action for the sake of the Creator, but we can discover this and even want to change, and then to turn and help and turn to Him to take us out of this nature, to hold on to the 10, to hold on to friends, the teachers, the source materials, because a person alone cannot exit his nature, but he can ask and to exit thanks to his friends. That's what the holiday of Pesach talks about, and I'm passing to you. What is exile? Except what is exile? It is that he is under the rule of self-love and cannot work for the sake of the Creator. When is self-love considered exile? It is only when he wants to emerge from this control because he suffers from not being able to do anything for the sake of the Creator. Friends, we go to an active workshop. How can we work for the sake of the Creator? We will succeed to work for the sake of the Creator if we adhere to our teachers and to our writings and our friends who go with us on this path. The Creator really wants us to unite, to connect, and He wants us to adhere to Him, specifically through our connection with the friends. Yeah, when you're in a good environment, correct environment, where all the friends support you, they support you, they help you come out from under the rule of self-love. Only with their help you can come out. We need to constantly aim ourselves, feel the intention, and see that we're doing everything for the sake of the Creator, and build a common intention from the center of the 10, aim to Him. Well, it's some kind of special work of ours to build a vessel accepted by the light. A lot of exertion. But that's the rewarding work, to be children of Israel, and to do our role, and of course, everything's going to be with the help of the Creator. That's how you want it. When we come to a state in which it hurts us, when you're in pain, you scream, you cry out when it hurts. So, we will get there together as one to such a single outcry, which is the most important thing for us to bestow. And the Creator will help us and make the change. In the article, the Egyptian minister fell. Their outcry was not answered in the work. What is that? When the people of Israel were in exile in Egypt and were under the governance of Pharaoh, king of Mit, of Egypt, and wanted to emerge from his governance, they could not. It was still unclear to them what it means to work in order to bestow and not for one's own sake. Although they wanted to work for the sake of the Creator, they saw they could not. Yet they always had excuses as to why they cannot aim in order to bestow, and they did not feel that they were so far from the Creator. We're going to move to a silent workshop. Let's ask that the Creator will bring us closer to Him. Let's ask that the Creator will bring us closer to Him. Silent workshop. Come on. Yeah. Dear friends, we're going to start with a lesson from Roommate Media. We have 35 minutes to read it. Tea that finish reading the article early are invited to start a workshop on the main principles. What is a lily among the thorns in the world? Similar to what is above, rose among the thorns, out the lily from among them. The thorns dried out and were thrown away and were corrupted until they were regarded as nothing. We should understand what it implies to us in the work, and a person must be similar to the upper lily. And why specifically when one is among the thorns, he is regarded as more selected and finer than the rest of the people, as it is written, this is why 70 souls went down to Egypt, so as to become finer. Said, why is Mallet called a lily? It is because a person can assume the burden of the kingdom of heaven only by overcoming the will to receive in him, since it comes and asks a person when he wants to work in order to bestow, meaning for the sake of the Creator, and not for himself. And he asks, what is the work for you? That is, what will you get out of wanting to work for the sake of the Creator? It is written in the Passover. The answer is blunt his teeth. This means that we must not argue with it, but blunt its teeth, meaning we have to overcome it by force. That is when it comes with its questions. We must remember that it comes with these questions precisely when one wants to work in order to bestow. Then there's room to ask why. But when a person works in order to receive reward, this wicked one has nothing to ask. We must not reply or contemplate what to answer. Instead, we must know it is a waste of time to want to find answers to its questions. Rather, when it comes and asks, a person should immediately treat it with force and overcome it with force and not by arguments. And since each time even once a person has overcome it, it is still not impressed. But and each time a person wants to do something for the sake of the Creator, it comes with its questions. There are numerous blunt its teeth here. This is why Mut is called a lily. In other words, a person wants to be rewarded with the kingdom of heaven, called faith. He must undergo a process of many blunt its chief, which is why it's called lily. He said that this is the meaning of two. The victor on lily's meaning that the victory comes specifically through layers. According to the above, we can interpret the meaning of as lily among the thrones, and why it is that specifically when she is among the thorns, she is finer than other lilies. We should know that thorns, what thorns are in the work, in corporality. The thorns prick their lily, but what does this imply in the work? It means that when the wicked comes and asks, what is this work for you? With these questions, it pricks man's thoughts and heart and makes a person suffer. As thorns prick in corporality, so the questions prick the person. He suffers torments, meaning that these questions distance him from the work, since one cannot always overcome his questions, and he begins to see that he is declining from holiness, since normally these questions come during an ascent when a person understands that it is worthwhile to work in order to bestow. But suddenly he comes with his questions, and one must overcome it. At that time a person comes and asks for help from the Creator to help him, since he sees that by himself he cannot overcome it. It follows that he always needs heaven's mercy, as it is written in the Zohar. The help that comes from above is regarded as a soul that he receives each time. This is regarded that the help he receives from above is light that gives one the power to overcome the evil in him. It was said about this, he who comes to purify is aided. By this we can interpret the words as a lily among the thorns, and a lily that is more fragrant and finer than all the other lilies in the world is only one that grew among the thorns. In other words, because she is among the thorns, they prick her, meaning the kingdom of heaven. When a person takes upon himself to work in order to bestow, this is called a lily. At that time, the wicked comes with his questions of what is this work for you, and pricks the kingdom of heaven, the mallet of heaven in his heart. Each time he must overcome and pray and ask for help. By this the lily becomes fragrant, for fragrance is as it is written, and they smelled in the fear of the Creator, which is finer than all the lilies in the world who have no thorns to prick them. Those lilies are not as fine as the lily that is among the thorns. This comes to teach us that one should not be alarmed when the wicked keeps coming to him and asks the question, what is this work for you? And he cannot overcome it. It is not as one sometimes thinks that these thoughts come to him because he is unfit for the work of the Creator. On the contrary, the fact that the wicked comes to him is because from above they want to help him attain Appa. This is why he is given these disturbances, so as to have a need to ask for help. Therefore, when one sees that he is unfit by nature to be able to work in order to bestow, his work at that time is to increase his prayers to the Creator to help him from above, so he can work in order to bestow. Conversely, an ordinary lily, meaning other people who observe Torah's mitzvot and commandments in order to receive reward, although this is also regarded as a lily, meaning that the body does not agree to observe Turian's commandments even in order to receive reward, and it requires labor and effort, since we must believe in reward and punishment to which the body objects, but because it is not against nature, since his work is for his own benefit. The lily in his heart, which is called the kingdom of heaven, is not regarded as feeling that there are thorns that prick her. Therefore, although Lishmer, not for her sake, is an important thing, this is called a mere lily, since she does not suffer pricks from the thorns, and therefore he has no need to pray to the Creator to help him overcome. Naturally, he also does not extend sanctity from above by which he will receive help from above, and for this reason he's called a mere lily. But a lily among the thorns is finer than all the other lilies in the world, because the pricks, meaning the sufferings she suffers from the wicked, cause him to receive new powers from above each time, and by this his soul grows. This is why she's finer than all the lilies in the world. he follows that one should be grateful. Not to say, when he sees the wicked, always coming to him with questions, called thorns, which prick the lily in his heart, should not say that this is a sign that he's unworthy of this work of bestow, because it is not for him, since he sees that he hasn't the strength to overcome the evil. Rather, one should believe that every person has the strength to work and achieve adhesion with the Creator. As our sages said, one should always see oneself as half guilty and half innocent. That is according to the measure of the good within him. So is the measure of bad. Otherwise a person cannot subdue the bad as it is, more than the good. We must believe in our sages who said so, and it is so precisely so that one will be able to decide of merit. Therefore always in whatever situation, the bad does not have more power than the good within him. This is why they said, if he performs one commandment, happy is he if he has sentenced himself and the whole world to the sight of merit. Accordingly, we should interpret what is written: the rich shall not give more, and the poor shall not give less than half a shekel. We should understand what this implies to us in the work. We must know that we were given the choice as it is written, behold, I have set before you today life and good and death and bad, and you shall choose life, so that you and your descendants will live. It is known that choice means that a person can decide which is better for him. This can be said when both are equal. He does not know which to choose. At that time we are given the commandment to choose. As our sages said, that one must see oneself as half guilty and half innocent, and then he can talk about choice. This means that one who sees that he is not succeeding in the work and wants to escape the campaign, since he sees that he cannot work for the sake of the Creator, because he was born with worse qualities than others, and he also sees that he has a weak character and therefore hasn't the strength to overcome the evil in him. The text teaches us about this, that one has no more bad in him, but according to the measure of the good. In other words, if a person sees that he has a weak character or worse qualities than another person, he must know that the bad in him does not have more power than the good in him. They're ever equal 5,050. Therefore, if he sees that one person has better qualities than his, he should not say that it is easier for him to work than for him, and this is why the other one is working. Rather, one should know that every person has bad according to the measure of the good that he has. Hence, if the other has better qualities, he also has worse qualities than the other, since the bad and the good are ever equal in strength. The verse says about this, the rich shall not give more, and the poor shall not give less than half a shekel, to give a donation to the Lord to make atonement for your souls. The rich means that even if one is rich in knowledge and good qualities, he will not give more than half a shekel, because half means a lack which one gives as a contribution to the Creator, so that he will satisfy his lack. As was said that a prayer makes half, he cannot say that he gives more powers than half by having good qualities, but rather precisely half for the above reason, that corresponding to the good that he has, he also has more bad than another person. It follows that one never gives more than half. Likewise, the poor shall not give less. This means that one who is poor in knowledge and in good attributes, and he prevails and does not escape the campaign, the Creator helps him. He too should not say that he makes less efforts than another person, since he sees that he is poor in knowledge. Therefore, when the Creator helps him and brings him closer to him, he should not say that he was given less than half the forces of the work in order to overcome the bad in him. Rather, he too gave half, since the bad in him was also not so powerful that it was said that the filling was more than the lack of the forces in the bad. Rather, it is always 5,050. As it is written, the poor shall not give less than half a shekel. That is the good, and the bad are always equal. Therefore a person cannot say that he is incapable of this work, since he should give more powers than others. Rather, a person never gives more than half a shekel. This is the meaning of what is written, to give a contribution to the Lord. That is the contribution that one should give to the Creator is only half, meaning the lack that a person feels, that the Creator will give the filling. What is the filling? Answer: the filling is always that which a person needs. Hence, when one begins the work, he should obtain a lack for the Creator to help him have the desire to bestow, as this is the heart of the work to obtain this desire. It follows that have means the necessity for the matter, meaning to feel how much he needs to obtain this desire, meaning to obtain suffering at not having the desire to bestow, meaning to know the loss at not having the desire to bestow, and to the extent that he knows what he's losing, to that extent he can feel how happy he would be if he had the desire to bestow. Thought by this he obtains half a thing, meaning the vessel for the Creator to satisfy his lack by giving him from above a second nature called desire to bestow. This is the meaning of what is written, half a shekel to give a contribution to the Lord. In other words, a person should know that he can only give half, as in a prayer makes half. One must know that he cannot give a full shekel, which is light and vessel, meaning the need for the desire to bestow and to be able to do everything in order to bestow. Rather, the half shekel belongs to man's work to give only the deficiency, while the filling belongs to the Creator. This is the meaning of what is written, go give a contribution to the Lord to make atonement for your souls. In other words, by giving a contribution to the Lord, which is the half, the Creator gives the other half called desire to bestow, which is a second nature. By this a person makes atonement for his soul by being able to do everything for the sake of the Creator. Therefore, after one is rewarded with the Creator giving the desire to bestow, a person is rewarded with permanent faith. As it is written, we must be thankful to the Creator for rewarding us with nearing Him. This is as it is written, sing to God, kingdoms of the earth. Sing praises to the Lord Salar, to Him who rides upon the highest ancient heavens. He will speak forth with his voice, a mighty voice. We should interpret that the kingdom of the earth are those who have been rewarded with faith called Malat and the quality of earth. Sing to God. They should sing for the Creator, rewarding them with a quality of faith. Also, is called God. As it is written, sing praises to the Lord Salar, to Him who rides upon the highest ancient heavens. He will speak forth with his voice, a mighty voice. We should understand why they must sing to the Creator and thank Him. Does the Creator need flesh and blood to thank Him? The answer is that the created beings should know that all that they have is what the Creator gave them, in order to thereby achieve the love of the Creator. Through the love of the Creator, they will always be in adhesion with the Creator. As it is written, that then they attain Him as doing good. And if they do not attain Him as doing good, then they must be under the governance of heresy, as it is a law that the creature cannot receive disclosed evil from Him. For it is a flaw in the glory of the Creator for the creature to perceive Him as an evildoer, as it is unbecoming the complete operator. This is the meaning of what is written. He will speak forth with his voice, a mighty voice. In other words, the creatures must sing and thank Him for letting them hear the voice of the Creator. That is by feeling that the Creator has given them the quality of Malat called permanent faith, by their feeling that it comes from the Creator. This adds to them the love of the Creator. As it is written, He will speak forth with His voice. And what will He say with His voice? Answer, a mighty voice. The Radak interpreted that He will speak forth against the enemies with His voice, which is a mighty voice. It is known that in the work the enemies are able to receive, that awakens each time to receive in order to receive. They are men's enemies, because they prevent a person from perceiving the delight and pleasure. Therefore, one should believe that the fact that one has been rewarded with faith in the Creator, this comes from the Creator. May this is rewarded with the voice of the Creator subduing the enemies, meaning that the will to receive surrenders, and in its stead comes the desire to bestow. And now he wants to work for the sake of the Creator. This comes from the voice of the Creator. As it is written, the voice of the Lord is powerful. We should interpret that the voice of the Lord gives power to man to subdue the enemies. This is the meaning of what is written. Give strength to God. Beek interprets, give strength with words. Give Him the strength, since His strength has done you vengeance against the enemies, and not by your own force. We should interpret His words with words, meaning they said that all the strength of the force the Creator alone did it. That is the fact that you see that your enemies, meaning the will to receive, has surrendered before you. It is not man's force, but only the force of the Creator. This is as Thiek says, his strength has done your vengeance against the enemies, and not by your own force. This is the meaning of what is written over Israel. His pride and his strength is in the skies. As the Radak says, the pride and greatness of the Creator is seen and apparent over Israel, since he fights the enemies for them with pride and strength. It is as the Zohar says, when the Creator wished to pick out the lily from among them, the thorns dried out and were regarded as nothing. That is, he did this by the might of the Creator, meaning surrendered all the enemies. In other words, the fact that the will to receive surrendered, and now the desire to bestow governs the person. This is over Israel, is pride. In other words, the pride and greatness of the Creator is seen and apparent over Israel, meaning that the desire to bestow controls, and this does not come by man's power but by the power of the Creator. This means that it is apparent that it came from the Creator, and that his help comes by being rewarded with greater light each time. That his help, says the Zohar, is as a new soul. That now it is evident that it came from the Creator. We should interpret the reason that a person cannot achieve the vessels of bestow by himself. The answer is that if a person could achieve vessels of bestow by himself, he would be content with little and would feel himself as a complete human being. He would remain in his infancy, since he would have no need to go forward, because he really is doing everything for the sake of the Creator. There's a rule that there is no light without a clear meaning and need. But when a person himself cannot obtain vessels of bestowal and must ask the Creator to help him, that person needs his help. By this he receives from the Creator new help each time, and all her help is part of his soul. By this he is rewarded with receiving in the root of his soul. A person must be cautious to take upon himself the burden of kingdom of heaven unconditionally. This is called unconditional surrender. That is, one need not say, if the Creator gives me a good state in Torah and prayer, I will be able to do the holy work, otherwise I cannot be a servant of the Creator. This is as it is written in the Zohar, and we learned that this is the meaning of the verse, lift up a psalm for him who rides through the prairies which are and hut which are thighs. These do not bear fruit. It is all like the willows in the palm branch. It is known that the willows in the lulav, the palm branch used in Sukkot, imply that the work should be done in the manner of willows, although the willows have neither taste nor smell, as said of what is written, to entertain you with the willows of the brook. That is, even if he feels no flavour in the work, and it is like the willows of the brook, devoid of taste or smell. During the work they should beat men as great entertainments. This is called unconditional surrender, and this is the meaning of what is written, rejoice before him, meaning be happy as though they have great attainments. This is the meaning of entertainment before the Creator, and thus we should believe these dawns are help for us, so that eventually we'll ask for help from the Creator to help us, to give us his qualities. Bestow on love. We really need to ask from the upper force to give us the lack, so we will have a desire to bestow, and the desire to bestow to reach such a deficiency you need one's help and his friend's help. Only after that we talk about the rest of the things. Okay, he arranges us a very precise way. What is Creator's role? What is our role? We need to awaken a deficiency, to bring a deficiency, seeing the Creator. We see that he's always around us. He pressures a person in different ways, only to bring a person to overcome and to break out from his beast and become a man. You really can depict this state where one has half good, half bad, and he needs to constantly be. He always has this equal forces of good compared to his forces of evil, and he always gives his half, meaning we're talking about his necessity to push towards the good, to push towards the deficiency and the quality of bestow. So we can think that any source that gives us a deficiency, it gives us a desire. How precious it is, how important it is, that this is the main work, how much we should appreciate the friends, the sources, the Rav thanks to, which we awaken with the desire to bestow. We're going to move now to a lesson from May 23rd, 2002. We read the article from Volume 2 of Runs of the Ladder. What is the lily among the thorns in the work. Page 248. Again, the Reb Rabish talks about the preparation of the vessel. A whole vessel is called shekel. Why is it called shekel? Because you can weigh it from the word in Hebrew. You can measure, you can pay, and in return for payment you receive something. What do you pay? In spirituality. What is a vessel then? Spirituality, where you receive money from the word. A screen. Where does the screen begin? A screen is the intention to bestow. I will have the intention to bestow. Called the vessel of faith, the light of clothing for the light of, then I'll be able to receive in it. This is the prepared vessel. How do we come to the prepared vessel? I need to acquire a screen. The intention in order to bestow is exactly against my nature. So I have to come to a state where I check my nature, called recognition of evil. I see how much I'm opposite to the intention to bestow, that I'm entirely from the beginning naturally created with the intention to receive. Then from the recognition of evil and the necessity to reach the true vessel, I feel in my heart what we call a prayer, and this prayer makes half. This is half the shekel that I ask for the force to bestow. I receive from above the light that reforms it, corrects me in order to bestow, and then I have a complete shekel where I receive the light of HMA. That's the matter of half shekel. Was it clear to repeat? Like from the beginning or from the end? What is better? The middle from the middle. What do we need to have in the end to receive all of the light of in order to bestow? That's the end of correction. We have no problem with the light. It's absolute rest. It's ready. The problem is the vessel. What is the vessel to receive the light? A desire to receive with the intention on all of the will to receive in order to bestow. Desire to receive, thank God we don't lack always to the extent that I'm able to work with it. It will awaken in me, meaning my work is only in the intention to bestow. How do I come to the intention to bestow? This doesn't exist in me naturally. So I receive it from above, from the Creator. When can I receive it from above? I receive it through the reforming light. The light of abs that corrects the vessel if I ask for it. Everything, both the corrections and the fillings, you have to ask for it. It's not that the Creator wants us to ask for it, but that the request means that you are right to receive what you are truly asking for, and you're not just crying out. So I have to reach a state where I'm asking for correction. The intention in order to bestow. When I will ask for correction, I need two conditions: to know that I don't have it, I lack this, and to know that I need this. Then my request will be a true request. The fact that I don't have it, I need to explore my nature and see, who am I? What am I? This is called recognition of evil. So I check and I see that I'm entirely in order to receive. I have no in order to bestow. This is one thing. This is my explore myself. Now in order to reach a state where I truly need to bestow, who said I needed, I will never want it of myself. So I have to explore the Creator when He's the fact that He's good and does good, and He's omnipotent, and He's the opposite of me. From this I reach a state where I truly want Him, or what's in Him, and to know exactly who am I all the way to the very end, and who is He to the very end. Then I will have a true prayer without recognition of the Creator. Know the Lord your God and serve Him. Without it cannot be. So I need to engage in the recognition of evil and recognition of His greatness. This is the work. This is where we start. The correction that I acquire the final correction in order to bestow the light of right. This is called the vessel of faith. Why vessel of faith? It is above me in reflected light, the light that reflects back from me. From the vessel of reception, this force, in order to bestow, the force that I receive is called the force of the screen. From this we have the matter of Kisufer. Kisu covered coverage on the rule to receive. Why is it called half a shekel? Because I always ask, I receive. From above the other half, I ask for correction, I receive it from above. I ask for fulfillment, I receive it from above. MHM. How does a person come to the awareness of the greatness of the Creator? Where can a person feel the greatness of the Creator? How? Because he's stronger than me. I want to say like Pharaoh, what is the Creator? Who is the Creator? That I shall listen to him. Why do I need him? Why? He doesn't exist for me. I don't need anyone. I'm me. Out of feeling constantly I enter confusion, failures, all kinds of blows. From that I get to know him, that he's stronger than me. He's great, and this is the work we need to do. That's why there is no righteous person who doesn't sin before, and 1,000 times a righteous man should fall and get up, but only from the descents, from the falls, and from the ascents you build a vessel. I can never how you say it. No, some action to recognize, to agree with his greatness, but only after he destroys me. Each time that I see that I'm capable of nothing, only out of that I agree that he is great. So if I think he's great, it's only an illusion, the fact that you think that he's great. How could we think about it? What do you know? Each of us has some kind of internal feeling, and you're saying to yourself that after a while that they just told me that he's great. What? Great, how do I imagine? No, you feel how what a zero you are, and you feel that there's something else. Well, I wanted to do such and such action by myself. I think I come to it, and I do it, and I attain everything, and suddenly I see that he disturbs me. He does everything the opposite. He spits me. I fail. I fall, and out of that I get to know him, that he's stronger than me, only out of the failures. No, so the question is what's needed? There's no other way. There's no other way to get to know him. There are only two forces, either me or him, either Pharaoh or the Creator. Until I acquire his qualities, I'm the Pharaoh. In fact, do we need to make this feeling bigger each time? What level do we have to get to each of us? Which level? You have to reach 100%. 100%. Yes, because the will to receive is created by the light and equal to the intensity of the light that has to fill it. Meaning, these two lines, right and left, they are equal to each other. To what extent? And until you reach the full vessel, only in this way. It's cold. It's cold. I think maybe first I need to have a desire of Pharaoh, that I. Certainly, we first need to have the desire of Pharaoh, and from a desire of Pharaoh, we gradually surrender to the will of the Creator. But the will of Pharaoh also awakens and is revealed in us according to how much we work on the greatness, on recognition of the greatness of the Creator. I need to be drawn to the right line, and from that, I will be shown the left line. We don't need to be praying to be like Pharaoh. No need to pray to be like Pharaoh. What? For you have to constantly yearn for the right. You do everything through the right. You no turn right. That's how it's written. Otherwise, you won't see that it's the left. You won't see that it's bad. You can only recognize one versus the other. He says here that the good and evil are constantly equal. Is it correct that the concept of the right line and the left line are always equal? But when a person is kind of like, I don't know, going through a new state and is in a state where he has no desire whatsoever, or where's the equality of things there? He's actually in a state where he doesn't see the evil, and he doesn't see that he has anything good. A person sees his evil. Where is the good that corresponds to it? To the extent that there's inside of him recognition of good, he sees bad. How can he just see the bad? He needs to have a point of reference from which he measures. No, yes, but he just sees, well, you see a certain phenomenon as 10 g bad, and another one sees it as 10 kilos bad. Why? It's the same thing, right? No, we don't see the same. From your right line you say this is bad, and the other guy says no, it's not bad, it's terrible. Yes, but the good we have to equalize towards the Creator, actually towards some desire. Facing the Creator, meaning compared to the Creator, meaning that as much as you yearn for him, you wish to know him, you wish to copy onto yourself his qualities. To that extent you get to know what corresponds to him, as bad as evil. That's it. Kabbalah is the work of the Creator. There's nothing else, right? You learn how to come close to him, how to resemble him. That's Kabbalah. They explain to you the stages by which you can do it. So they say that only in the gap between his qualities and yours, you can get to know the state. That's how we're built. The vessel, if it fills itself in the degree of the inanimate or vegetative or animate, and she only feels it if she feels against the light the creator. Then she feels herself as the speaking. Why? Because she feels herself as the guest in front of the host. And then the shame, which does not exist in animals and beasts and all those things, right? That the sign of shame is the clothing. Our clothing, right? You know how it's told. There are screens to the extent you have screen, you need shame, you need the screen. What is shame? The gap between your qualities and his. Does not need a clothing before the sin. Why all of his qualities are like the creator's qualities, nothing to be shamed of. The minute he acquired qualities opposite from the creator, immediately he started to apply clothing on himself, dressings. But if when a person is in a descent and he doesn't actually see that he's bad and he sees the creator as good, or it's a waste of time. How to come to seeing the creator as good from seeing himself as bad, and the creator is good but still says nothing. In addition to recognition of evil, there needs to be another thing. Recognition of evil. Evil, you see in the light of the creator, you see that you're evil. That's right. But you cannot turn yourself into good. And you don't agree that the creator will do it. You need another subjugation. You need to get to know that he is the one that's doing everything here. We call it the greatness of recognition of the greatness of the creator, the greatness of there's none else besides him, that if you want to change anything, you turn to him. You get it? In addition to feeling bad, I also need to bend myself, to lower myself, to step on myself completely. They demand for my ego to disappear, and it's difficult because here, a person in himself, he needs to go down to the lowest degree, or he ends, and they're in the lowest degree, the very lowest degree. He feels how good it is to connect and to take upon himself the authority of the creator. Before that, it's work with falls, and that's how it is in each degree. See, you can hear it after a few months. Talk to people who just study the holy books. They'll say that you're talking about psychology. So how can a person from a state of where he's feeling bad begins to reach this end besides him? What does he care about? How much forces exist, or if it's one force? No, from having it bad, I want to get rid of the bad. And then I start to perform all kinds of means of how to exit it, tricks. And in the end, I come to a state in which I'm not capable, and I'm reminded that the creator is capable of helping me after one despairs. Then it's reminded to me from above. What does it mean that I'm being reminded? After I scrutinize all my discernments, I come to a state which is the lowest, which is connected to the ket, at which point I remember that there are, besides me, there's another force that can perform this, or a means by which I can succeed, which is the creator. That's the whole game between Pharaoh and the creator in the Exodus from Egypt. You can't know the creator without Pharaoh. Come unto Pharaoh. Without that, it's impossible. Moshe doesn't need this because it's the point in the heart, but because of the people, the nation, to understand the whole system of the desire to receive. You need with your point in the heart and with the creator to go together to Pharaoh. Since the nation is just a desire to receive, Pharaoh is in order to receive the intention. Yes, build a graven image. You build an idol by building in a manner where you think that your desire to receive can save you from the house of imprisonment. This is considered that you're building yourself idols, but you're constantly building and contradicting, because it doesn't sustain, it doesn't help. Wrath gives you, he throws you from such things. He needs to always show you that you need to turn to the creator and not to, unless it's some more that wants to connect you to him or someone else who's looking for some profit from you. It can't be that the Rav I'm talking about, a teacher in Tabala, will attract a student to him. This doesn't mean that he doesn't help the student, but in manners that the student doesn't know, but to guide a student. We must only do the goal always. The main thing is to get rid of the evil, to know what is evil, to get rid of it, or it's not enough. Why I need something. The main thing of ridding ourselves from the evil. No way. Why get rid of the evil just to be some good boy? Go to some extracurricular activities where they'll teach you there how to be a good boy. Sociology, psychology. Go to a psychologist. He'll explain to you how to behave nicely. Why get rid of the evil? If it's just to get along in the society, in this world, well, Maybe yes. I don't know. We benefit from this. It depends what just like that too. Get rid of the evil. We're not talking about that. The goal obligates. The goal. Is the goal just to get rid of the evil? I don't see that people are running to get rid of their desire to receive. Bite they attain everything in life, unless they see that it's hard to work and nevertheless not worthwhile. So they make from the will to receive some kind of corruption, or they commit in some way, and then we sit receive some kind of social security or something, and you can sit like that your whole life. What else does he need? We know that evil is how we use it. Why it's not enough to get rid of the way we use the evil? Why do you need to get rid of the evil? That's the question. Can you answer me? 'Cause it bothers me. It's bothering you. So that's a psychological matter. Go to a psychologist. Why are you asking me? What are we sitting here for? We're not learning how to get rid of the evil to use for the good. No, it's not okay. We're learning how to come closer to the Creator. You on the way to that I stumble upon the evil, and by the evil I advance and adhere to the Creator. So I need this evil. I have not ever seen anyone who came here in order to get rid of the evil. Ask if anyone has come here for this, except from you, a good boy, and he wants to be even better. The approach is not correct. Only the goal, meaning adhesion, must determine all my actions. If not adhesion, evil, not evil. What? There is no evil. Evil is also what bothers me to adhere to the Creator is called evil. I'll ask you differently. The desire to receive the biggest one, the bigger it is that bad? That's not bad, only the intention in order to receive against the Creator, in an opposite direction than him, that in me will be called evil. But if it's not against the Creator, meaning not against something that bothers me to come closer to him, that won't be called evil in me, I'll use it. Why not? Have you ever seen me limiting myself in eating or in some kind of sufferings, or limitations or restrictions? Does it bother my advancement? If it were to bother, that's different. But just like that, nothing animalistic or beastly bothers. That's why we don't pay attention to this beast. Give her what she needs. That's it. Don't make her a worship out of it. Don't make some kind of ceremony out of this, but give her what she wants. That's not called evil. Evil is only towards the Creator. So I need to know who he is, what his qualities are, how I advance to him, how I adhere to him. Anything that disturbs me from getting that will be called evil in me, but not just like that where I want to eat to go have fun, to eat, to drink, this, sleep, to rest, anything. It could be that it's good, it could be that it's bad. The purpose of creation is to do good to his creatings. I need to use my entire desire to enjoy the whole world. Who said it's bad? Meaning you cannot search for something against the Creator if you don't first know him to the extent in which you know him, meaning that the light illuminates for you, as it's called. To that extent, you know the opposite. That's why you need to search for him, and the opposite you will always find him. That's why there needs to be this trend to constantly how to be closer to think about him, to the greatness, to hear him, etc. No, well, yes, if the adhesion with the Creator is so good, something you understand once, later the desire falls on the sense why you're asking why after I attain something in my way that I attain something good, suddenly it starts to disappear and descend. First of all, because what I attain still with the vessels of Lishma in reception, and therefore it's not eternal. It disappears even like all the pleasures of this world. Now the question is, what does it mean that all the pleasures in this world also disappear? Every pleasure is something spiritual, so a little less, a little more in the vessel, that's not precisely in order to bestow, in order to receive, but nevertheless, it's spiritual matters. It's not just mechanics, it's my feelings. So they say the light cancels the vessel, so the vessel in order to receive is what I attain. When I attain it, it gets cancelled. That's one thing. The second thing is, because I wanted to reach some degree, to begin with, to attain the degree I wanted, in order to bestow something, to do kind of, in order to bestow, doing the preparation in order to bestow, I nevertheless wanted this, and I reached some degree. The degree has a posterior of the degree, and its upper, so I reached the posterior through the Maya anterior. It turns out that this deficiency is deeper, greater than what I had before. Here there's a path of growth. I will reach again the anterior of the degree that is more supreme, and there I will the posterior degree will be also upper, and that's where I reach the left. This is how it is with the upper degrees. It's because these degrees are built like a ladder, wherein the interior of the lower one I always discover after I realize this whole matter. I finish this degree, I reveal the posterior of the upper one. That's how it is. Yes, can you see the recognition of evil through the behavior of a friend? Can you see the recognition of evil through the behavior of a friend? If everything you see around you you accept or receive as for use, meaning once more connected to the goal, then everything such thing will that's around you, certainly you can learn from, and by that, shorten times, and be in more critique and be more critical and finish these discernments faster. Let's say just what happened with that group that got it confused with the interpretations of the Torah. Yes, so from this we can learn how important it is to be connected only to what our teachers told us, the writings of their. That's it, no more, and just adhere to this and constantly think of what they were thinking. The more you think like he thinks, that leads you to that point that he has already attained and you want to attain. And if you start building some other things, not precisely what he's writing, you don't want to go on that same thought that he's leading you in the article, so you build a different Torah and you see where we reach. And that's how one can learn from others' mistakes. From this we see how right the Kabbalists were when they said that you need to only study with the Rav and only from the books, the special books, and it's prohibited before age 40, meaning when you get a mind and intellect, and truly, meaning there must be conditions for you not to start getting confused. You can get confused, but nothing will come out of that. Altogether you're a beast, but nevertheless you are confused, but you're just missing out on the life that was given to you. And you can feel others with this as well. There's no shortage of religions and all kinds of faiths in this world. That's why we need to precisely adhere to what is written above my mind, above my intellect. Simply not forget that what I'm learning, what they write from that world, from the spiritual points until we reach for them. And there's where we said here that when they write this article they hoping that I will reach it in 20 years. So now will I give up on this and go according to my beastly intellect at what's happening. I want to understand the verse. The rich will not go more and the poor will not pay less. The rich will not pay more and the poor will not pay less. Simply if everyone is equal before the Creator, but in spirituality the rich is more. Why does he talk about rich in terms of paying more than the poor? Look, the problem in the Torah is that it tells us about all 620 degrees, with all the actions a person needs to perform from now to the final correction. Even upon the first action, that's upon us. We don't know anything. Every single action they expressed in some verse, in some saying, in some lore, or in some story. First of all, we don't understand what they wrote because we are reflecting it, copying it to our world. If we could translate it to a language of spiritual actions, that's one thing, but it's somewhere there, but we can't. Suddenly they take the word and they say there in Ibrahim, you have this, and they start from this world to build for you 1001 things from the word in the beginning. You have all the 70 corrections of the Zohar only from one word in the beginning. What is bet? What is the different letters this is? That's Israel. Then you enter into the letters themselves, their order, and boy, what goes on there. We're given several examples here what actually is the depth of each word or combination of several letters or of something in the Torah, but you're not explained whatsoever how many letters, and their order, and their joining, and so on. Nothing is explained to you. So, when we take a certain excerpt or verse, and we want to follow this verse, you see sometimes they take this sentence, and they say to us in a simple way, sometimes in that kind of a simple way. But the simple thing is not the truth. Truth is where you take the verse, and you will see through these letters their vessels, and in what state these vessels are in, and what lights they receive, and altogether from this your inner state, your degree will appear as reaching this degree, and how to reach this degree you will see, because besides letters there's also, and all meaning, there's complete information. How to reach this, and how to be in this, and we take it in a simple way, where we don't look at the form of the letters, the gematrias, the numerology of it. You just have to copy it to this world. And then with the beastly vessels, that spiritual lore that exists in some spiritual degree, we want to take it in a manner in which it's just written in a certain code. You just want to copy it to this world and just use it like that. Sometimes things come out of it that it's written to kill the Gentile or to steal from the Gentile, all kinds of such things. Go start using it this way, altogether with many more laws in this world. It's in a simple way, so it's explained to you that know it, speaks this way, and it never comes out in a simple manner. How many interpretations are there in this simple matter? It's not that I'm negating them. I don't want to touch them, but the matter of adhesion is the goal. For that we're here. Does it benefit or not? The goal from rights you want to reach. The simple form. Start with the secret with, and what we have from all these verses, that you can always find 1,000 sentences that will support what you're thinking. 1,000 paragraphs that are kind of that. We had this guy Rodriguez with Raresh. He was a student who would sometimes come. He knew by heart also the Bible, also the Misnar, and also the by heart. That's some mind that's like a light disc. It's like you press, and from that point to the end of time, he can tell you it all. It's a wonder. What's written there? He tells you, and then he stops in some word. What's next? Oh, the next word is written on the second page. It's really that's a. Yes, it's there as such that's there. Work in the circus or in some place you show them 200 numbers or something. He looks please. There's also techniques of how you can acquire such qualities. So, sometimes we used to do with him all kinds of exercises, to him seemingly something against you. Kind of want to stimulate him, and he starts to pour out something that he wants to justify himself, such verses. Well, that's nice how rich the Torah is. Okay, where are we? Let's share impressions from the lesson, and what from it we are taking to implement in the tent. Yes, I was very impressed by how the correction of the stall that we make is a spiritual correction. It's something that comes from the purpose of creation, and it's not just to plainly get rid of the evil. Also, we will not have a desire in our nature to get rid of the evil if it's not in the spiritual direction. Women, they're two forces, or me or the creator, or Pharaoh or the creator, and from seeing that the creator is stronger than me, stronger than Pharaoh, I can see his greatness. And we learn how to come closer to the Creator. And our will to receive doesn't always agree. The evil is what goes against the Creator, the intention itself. And also when he said that, the beast give it whatever it wants. So, we'll keep going together, coming closer to the Creator. Yes, give the beast whatever it needs as long as you don't get addicted to it, and it doesn't disturb you in the spiritual path. There are many practical pieces of advice in this lesson. We have to review it a few more times, get a few more gems out of it, and see how we reach that need and desire to bestow. This is still not clear. We read, we heard, but still not clear at this point. We need to scrutinize it between us, and it's possible. I think he explains it very nice. He's saying that there are two conditions to reach it. The first is that a person has to know where he is, who he is, what he is. Second, he must discover that he needs the quality of bestow, because a person doesn't really need it. So in order to know who he is or what he is, he has to research himself and see that he is just the will to receive that recognition of evil, and the matter of bestow a person needs. He doesn't need that. That's why only the greatness of the Creator is what actually develops in him the need to even go in that direction. Only after all that, it's called that the Creator is demanding the quality of still, like I've answered you though. Still there are questions on the one hand we need to reach adhesion and importance of the Creator on the other hand, and work only on that 10. The 10 on the other hand, person has to discover the evil that's against the qualities of the Creator, and thirdly, it's still not enough. We don't really turn to the Creator where I've said that we also need this very special work to smear oneself to the bottom. So, maybe both this and that are insufficient. Maybe somehow all of these things are required. But still a person can't reach a true recognition that the Creator governs him if he didn't make all the efforts on his own accord to feel the difference between our state and the Creator, said to agree that he is great, but only after I see as much as I can do anything. Only from that I agree that he is great. Who else didn't speak of, the wisdom of Kabbalah is so rich and it expands through all possibilities in this world towards us, and in the 10 between the friends. Between that, you're given this deep picture as much as we connect will understand and reach the internality of the things. We are now going to study a lesson with Ra from the study of the tens. Part 15, Item 10. We are reading from the study of the 10. Part 15, building the. You can ask questions and selected questions will be asked during the lesson. So the study of the 10's part 15, building the of. There's no English translation. We will do our best. We are in inner light. Beginning with, so we were saying that. Here, if you remember correctly, I drew it. That there's 3 ascends. In the posterior that Nukba starts from A. That's her initial position in Tukut, where she is clothed upon Tanya of Saran, and then she can ascend to Saran, meaning Ayenika, and those 3 states through the posterior when building her vessel. That is where we got to. Now before us is item 10, right? So, let's start from above. Item 10, the words of the 4 aspects on Pani face to face. How the grows. And these are first that it should be a complete pure face to face. I'm asking you. I see that there's people that just gave up on the study of it. This is something I don't understand, so I'll just sit. It's not correct. We need to understand that this is our root. We're speaking about the soul. Nukeber is our soul. That's why we need to study, and as much as we understand it's not important, but we have to invest our forces, and even if I have resistance, and I can't tie 2 words together, that's great, that's even better. It's not the wise who studies, but the one who overcomes and wants to feel it to reach it, what we're reading about here. So please put forces in this. Again, item 10. Again, item 10. And there are 4 aspects on the pinnote of Panima Panim face to face, and they are first that she will be a complete poo face to face Panima Panim. However, her measure is from the Kaz of Sarin and below, and her lights of the aspect of the Panim that exist in the first 5 aspects of Sarin did not extend to illuminate in her. And the first aspect first, that should be also a single point, included of 10 corresponding to the Panima Panim face to face. This is not the place to elaborate on it, and we will interpret it elsewhere. In the interpretation on the prayer, morning prayer in the, again item 10, there are 4 pinnote aspects in the of Panima Panim. Face to face, they are first that you will be a complete part, face to face, but the measure of her degree is from the Kaz of Sarin and below, and the lights of her aspect of Panim that she has in the first 5 aspects of Sarin did not extend to illuminate in her, and the first aspect, that will be also a single point included of 10 corresponding to the Panim. This is not a place to elaborate on it. Okay, so we're talking here that Nuber has to reach a state where she is below, and she receives light from him whatever is in, but below the. Afterwards she'll receive what he has above there until she becomes big. So the first stage, when she descends and diminishes herself to a point just as she was before. So let's see what he writes below in the letter 10 item 10m. 10 below starts with, and it says that there are 4 aspects in the meaning receiving the lights, and those 4 aspects are not arranged precisely in this order. And the first preener begins from the part of meaning that she's small, which is the pu avak, that is from an below, and from Mazarin face to face without the illumination of the first H. Also in Xanten, which are the gar, his, that's the state we're in. Is that clear? The state itself, not the reasons and why it was done. This is the state itself, right? Good. So, item 11. Item 11, it's in the next page page 1696. And the second is that the first 5 of that are above his, illuminated in her from above from the place where they are. But still he is from below, meaning is standing below, and except for the lights that she's receiving below, also the lights that are above there, even though she stands below. And then he descends in his net, and she ascends in his hood, in the aspect of the name, and he bends his degree and mates with her there, so below the again, and then the inner light above. The second is that the first 5 have been illuminated in her from above, but still he is from and below, and then he descends in his net, and she ascends in his hood in the aspect of the name, and he bends his degree and mates with her there in his, at he is in and is in his, and en, the mate between one another, and then the between happen in. Item 11 below. Previous page 1695, the line and the second one and the second one that the first 5 of Sarin illuminated in her from above, but still she is from chasm below, and then he descends in, and she ascends in his hood. Ascends or descends, meaning that he takes upon himself that clothing of his net. He lowers himself a degree and can receive illumination from above from him, and then she can mingle in his malber, but now she is integrated in. That's called an ascent for her, and he bends his degree and mates with her, meaning that the offlet of Peniber Pain, name face to face from the aspect of Mo, that these Mo are not enough at all for the mating to give birth of sin himself, because isn't enough you give birth only with, but only for that he small he belongs below. The low half of Sarin is called Yaakov, and the upper half of Sarin or altogether is that then he bends his head to the place of his previous, and he illuminates these Mo of Yaakov, who stands in, which is considered that the row of Sarin came down to the place of by bending his head, since also during the Mofak of hers, she's also found standing there from Kaz, she's also found standing there from Kazan below, and if so, how come Rav says that she ascends in his hood? And the matter is because truly these are the previous, the old of Zarpan, that now during the times of Mo they became of Sarin, and therefore this is considered the Nukva for the Nukvar as an ascent, because the principle, the main thing, they were only of Zanpin, but now from when the Mov came to Zanpin, these ascend and become, and the is standing in of Zanpin. And then that's why he says, and she ascends in his HUD, meaning the had the previous HO that is now. And it was clarified that this ascent of Tagat is not important for Zarin himself, and for him they still considered the with respect to Yaakov, and there considered, meaning that the of where the Nikeber is closed, and that truly is that's where all the connection between take place. So now they get an ascent. They raise in a degree obviously not towards itself. It never changes. He's always in, but those are the clothing he has, that in that way he can add the to himself and build in her inability to mate with him on behalf of Jacob, and on the degree of that she is already above his towards his previous state, and that is called, compared to the present state, towards when they make is called that they are in vo and the same left line when it ascends from had to. That's the left line. We are already starting to speak in 3 lines here, okay? We heard it as much as we understand, but we heard that that's what's going on, so we talked about the point of the then Z, that is, clothed on Z of, then she's clothed upon all the T of right, that is called building the vessels of the posterior. Then we said that she descends back to a point after she built the vessels now on behalf of the lights. How much does she receive? A point after the point she gets to, goes down to, and then compared to the previous state, it is called that she ascends to the first. Hey, okay, let's see how it happens. There's a lot of details here, the bowing of the head, all kinds of things. So item 12, next page 1696-6. Item 12, the words of the and the third here is that she will be as great as him in the full degree of Panama, and she receives the lights of his first 5 when she's there above with them, and although she does not receive her lights only through Zanpin, obviously could she ever get lights not through Zanin? Yes, we'll see you later. So that's why, since she only gets it with Zanpin, and his Keter will be bigger than her Ket. No, oh yeah, right the ket, and his ket will be greater than her ket, because he is greater and higher above than her keto. That's why we call it that she receives from him. Read item 12. Again 12. The third is that she will be as great as him in the measure of his degree panem face to face, and she receives the lights of the first 5 by being up there above with them. And though she does not receive her lights only through Zanpin, and his ket will be greater than her keto, because he is greater and higher up than her ket. So there's 3 states in the posterior and in the face of vessels of lights. My previous page. Below line the third, and the third is that she will be great as he is in the measure of his degree pain face to face, and receive the light of the first 5 when she's up there above with them, meaning also the offlet, just like the second aspect above. And the difference is that here he speaks of Moav, that are sufficient both for Mo foreign, that then Zerin does not lower his head, but rather he makes with the Nukva panim face to face in his own degree, and the Nukva is found to receive Gal when she's with them above Panib face to face. And what the Raf calls the scar as the first 5 spur is because the gar is a complete part of 10, and it clothed inside the part of from and below of his, in the way where with the upper third of are above all part of, and therefore for the difference from the part of Yaikar to the part of Dadlut is considered the full 5 that are missing from the part of Yannicka, because he cannot clothe them. And everything we talk about here in these 4 aspects of posterior and face of a butt is from the perspective of the intermingling of the in the hood of often, and also of that then the cannot can receive only from the aspect of which is the aspect of Serpent her husband, and she does not touch the aspect of Ima, which is Keter of Saran, because of Ima is considered her upper. This means that she still does not receive her lights only except through the Zarampin, and his Keter will be greater than her Keto, meaning as it's written above as a result of the equivalence of the degree that came to the Nukvar, but the intermingling thereof, and therefore she's obligated to receive from him, and she cannot suckle from his ket, which is the aspect of, and she does not touch, but thereof. And as a result, it is found that even on Shabbat during Musaf the addition, she cannot suckle from his ket, she cannot receive from his ket truly, because the equivalence of the degree of all the Mo of Shabbat is by the intermingling of in. Therefore she's obligated to receive through or unpin her husband, and therefore they don't both use a single keto. And all of this is only from the aspect of Moabah, but from the perspective of the Mo of that come to the Nukvar by the lowering of the head of Zanin to the place of Jacob. There, we see both of them using a single keto, meaning that the intermingling of net and had takes place in the spur of, and the Nukvar that rises to net of Ima, equal, and they both suckle equally from of, and they are using a single ket, and this thing is customary only, or takes place rather only the first month in Yom to the first of the month in Yamoth, but is not customary the rest of the days of the year, and even on Saturdays, just by awakening from above that. There's a sense that's how it happens. We have to come back to that, I think. Maybe we'll go back to item 12, interstate of Nikeber when she reaches Gadut. Again, the third is that it will be as great as he is in the measure of his degree panem, face to face, and receive the lights of his first 5 when she's up there above with them, that will go above and be in an equal degree with her, and receive all the lights from the degree of for herself. There's also of like that second degree mentioned above, and the entire difference is that here he speaks of the offlet of Mo of that are sufficient also for the Mo of foreign, that then Zanin does not lower his head, but rather mates with the Nukiver panem face to face in his own degree, and the Nukir receives G when she's with them up above panem face to face, meaning they're both in an equal degree, and when they're in that kind of form, so that's when they mate. And what the Raf where the calls the first 5 is because the gar is a complete part of, and it inside the part of Yaik from below of his, in such a way that with the upper third of or above all the part of we learned that once that we have the of, let's say this is, and in it the poo of Yannicka can row, and in that the grows, all these are one inside the other. This is Yannicka, and so it's 1, 2, and 3. That's clear, right? That's this is the way it grows. one inside the other. Yeah, and therefore the difference between the parts of Yannicka and the part of Gadlut is in 5 complete, that are missing from the of because it cannot clothe them, and everything we're talking about here, in these 4 aspects of our and pan posterior and face, of above and your suit, is the intermingling of and hood of, and also the then they cannot receive except from the aspect of which is the aspect of her husband, and she does not touch the aspect of Ima, which is the keter of Sanin, because net of Ima is considered her upper, and that's what he means. She still receives her light only through Zarpin, and his keter will be greater than her keter, meaning because of their equivalence of the degree that came to New by the intermingling of, and as a result she is obligated to receive from him, and she cannot suckle from his ket, which is to fur of Ima, and she does not touch anything but of Con, because of that we see that even during Shabbat and the addition she cannot suckle from his ket directly, because of the equivalence of the degree of all the mo of Shabbat at happens by the intermingling of, and therefore she's obligated to receive through Ain her husband, and therefore they do not both use a single keto, single crown, and all of this is only from the aspect of Moab, but from the perspective of the Mo of your suit that come to the nuker by the lowering of the head of Zarnkin to the place of Jacob below there is. They both use a single crown, meaning that the intermingling of and takes place in the place of the sphere of, and the nakra that rises to the aspect of Ima equally with Jacob, and they both suckle equally from of Ima, and they use a single crown, and this thing is customary only on the first of the month and Yom Good Day, but not during the rest of the days of the year, and also on Saturdays as it's written there. So if is integrated between obviously Nikeber, just receives from, and for her it's the upper one, and she knows nothing more than that, and she can suck from which is the, and if there is an integration of, then can even reach that same source wherein receive study that that's the whole part of there, and that's the point where the created being needs to know what he is lacking in order to reach an equal state with the Creator, which that is the purpose of creation. That's why we put so much attention on it and talk about it, and actually the whole wisdom of Kabbalah is directed to that point, because this is the whole matter, how we reach the degree of the Creator. And we'll move to the next part of the lesson, studying among friends. Dear friends, we're going to study among friends led by Alarti 1. Thank you, Gilad. The group of Almaty got the opportunity today, so we're blessing all the friends. You're holding you tightly. Let's connect together. The whole we're doing this for the first time. We had resistance. We were angry. We needed the Creator, and in every moment, He helped us. He connected between us. We felt it in the preparation we did. All the friends connected like we have never been before, and we really want all of us to connect. That our teachers will also be in the lesson and will be present in this lesson. So let's try to turn to the Creator, that He will be between us. We'll have active workshops and listen to what love is telling us and constantly be in happiness. We see how this Passover is very special. We can see it. We want to always feel this deficiency between us, such a special gift in this Passover. And we're already in the opening of the holiday of these states. We were in this preparation where we read the Zoh and these excerpts as much as the Koists had great fear towards this holiday as much as they important. We want to wish everyone that there really be a desire from the Creator that it will be hard to breathe. That's how much we're going to want it today and the next few days. We don't count on anything except the Creator. Let's feel that the Creator is in us and every action united towards Him as one. How our love is supporting us now, and we'll go through this state. We will now read the source excerpt twice. This is from Rarash. Come unto Pharaoh 1. Sometimes a person begins the work of bestow and explains to the body that this is the whole purpose of the work, to receive vessels of bestow. However, after all his arguments with the body tells him you cannot change the nature that the Creator has created. And since the creation is regarded as existence from absence, it is only in the form of desire to receive. How dare You dare you say that you can change the nature that the Creator has created. It was said about this, come unto Pharaoh, meaning we will go together. I will go with you so that I will change the nature. And all I want is that you will ask me to help you change your nature and invert it from a desire to receive into a desire to bestow. As our sages said, man's inclination overpowers him every day, and were it not for the Creator's help, he would not overcome it. Let's read the second time. Come unto Pharaoh 1. When a person begins the work of the stole and explains to the body that this is the whole purpose of the work to receive vessels of bestow. However, after all his arguments with the body tells him you cannot change the nature that the Creator has created. And since creation is regarded as existence from absence, it is only in the form of desire to receive. So how dare you say that you can change the nature that the Creator has created? It was said about this, come unto Pharaoh, meaning we will go together. I will go with you, so that I will change the nature. And all I want is that you will ask me to help you change your nature and invert it from a desire to receive into a desire to bestow. As our sages said, man's inclination overpowers him every day, and were it not for the Creator's help, he would not have overcome it. And now let's hear God's words, and that these words will go deep into the heart and connection between us. In order to reveal the Creator, we need to turn to Pharaoh. We need to reveal him more. We need to connect to our evil inclination, to that which rules over us, and try to connect to it, to understand how it works on us, how we can work with it. This is great work, and it's not simple. We truly need to be experts in how the Creator arranged it so that nature works from within me, and I know more and more each time how to work with it, what it awakens, for why it awakens in one way or in another way. How truly so I need to study it, and in all sorts of ways. The more I study it, to what extent it hinders me, and in what way it helps me understand the Creator, because Pharaoh is the posterior of the Creator, only in an opposite form. Just as in our world we cannot study any phenomenon of nature without studying the opposite form. Nothing is revealed except through itself and its opposite. So to the Creator, we want to reveal him, to advance, to adhere to him. You must reveal Pharaoh along the way. Question for an active workshop. How can we use the revelation of Pharaoh in order to reveal the Creator? Again, how can we use the revelation of Pharaoh in order to reveal the Creator? Anything that resists our spiritual path, that resists the connection between us. We need to always remember that he appears, that we pray to the Creator and demand the correct deficiency, the deficiency to bestow, for that he exists. That will always strengthen in our demand to turn to him. That bestow will be stronger than reception. Yeah, bit by bit the Creator lets us feel that the will to receive is our Pharaoh. This is what bothers us, and then we ask the upper force to correct it, and we arrive at the quality of bestow and reveal the Creator with God's help. Love explained it very nice, the way that the quality of bestow is opposite of you. You can't know it. The quality of bestow is opposite of you. You can't know it or learn it. So he brings you Pharaoh, and through that, you can know through the opposite. Through the revelation of the evil, you can start understanding what the quality of bestow is. So to formulate such a demand for bestow, so only through understanding Pharaoh we can get such a deficiency. All of this appears in stages. Creator getting rid of the evil this way. Now from the connection between us will take a thing, gives him a place. He's taking care of everybody. He brings Joseph close to him. And all the Egyptians, they work in simple jobs, and Israel get a nice place and flourish. Pharaoh was good. Then gradually when Israel grows and starts disagreeing with Pharaoh, and that's how we have to see the plea. And a question for the workshop. How? And a question for the workshop. How in the work between us does the good Pharaoh become the bad Pharaoh again? How in the work between us does the good Pharaoh become the bad Pharaoh? As we just heard from Rob in the clip, he says that in the beginning Pharaoh seems good. Then when Israel grows and begins to disagree with Pharaoh, criticizes Pharaoh, thus Pharaoh becomes evil in the eyes of Israel. So there's already a conflict, and so forth. We as much as we want to go on a spiritual path towards the truth, and we see and we feel as much as our will to receive is opposite how it resists that direction of ours. So, in that way, if we receive some kind of forces or enthusiasm that alter, he received agrees he understands there's some new fulfillment here, then it understands that there's already something completely opposite, something that wants to reach, bestow, not receive in the regular vessels of reception. So then there's resistance. And Pharaoh doesn't want to let us go, the will to receive, from the regular natural fulfillment, and that's why we have this method of the wisdom of Kabbalah. Yes, we're talking about 7 years of hunger, 7 years of satiation, meaning that we descent to Egypt to fill the will to receive. And it was good. We filled with all the goodness of the egoistic desires, everything in the will to receive. And after we've been fulfilled with the will to receive, from the development of the person, we discovered that what seemed as good becomes bad because there's no fulfillment. There's no fulfillment for the desire to bestow. We're stuck in the will to receive, and our will to bestow can't be released. And so Pharaoh now grips us when wanting to continue with these fulfillments, but we already want to come out to the will to bestow. And that's how Pharaoh becomes evil. Yeah, first of all, in the beginning, we feel good. We receive everything in our vessels, also the bread of shame, because we can't give. Only when we want to give, Pharaoh becomes bad to us. Yes, as you already heard said, the good Pharaoh is the beginning of the will to receive, or everything's excellent, and then bit by bit we discover that this will to receive is not that good, and we try to come out, and then this Pharaoh becomes bad. He tries to keep us in the will to receive, and we want to emerge from it to the will to bestow. It's an interesting process, and in Passover, we'll certainly all feel it. And it happens between people. A person discovers how his desire is opposite of this, and how this quality isn't in him, but he also doesn't have any desire for it, specifically from one thing, and trying. He really starts hating the evil, the force of hatred that separates between us and the will to receive. That's why it starts becoming positive, because hatred is already separation. And then the question is how much a person suffers from it according to his suffering. He can really call the Creator from the depth of his heart to change our state. Essentially, spirituality is unhealthy to the body. When a person wants to connect with the friends, with the others, with the Creator, then he goes through 10 plagues. Let it suffer. It's really unhealthy to corporality, but very healthy to spirituality. So may we succeed. That's what I wanted to ask, because Pharaoh is against the Creator, against his qualities. How do we know it's not a male? And specifically Pharaoh, I don't know the Creator's concealed. The qualities are concealed. We only have the friends, and we're standing before one another, and all kinds of states are revealed. Friends, please post your question marks. We want to hear your impressions, your thoughts. What did you feel? What will it take for going forward? And let's start from the all-mate group for now. Yeah, the impression isn't only one, the good and the bad. Its scrutiny is inside me, and it's important to understand that it's a Creator, that it's Pharaoh bringing us closer. In the beginning, Pharaoh gives us an opportunity to grow, to be stronger, to be ready for the next degree, like a missile when it flies. So a part disconnects from it. It all depends as much as I want to invest myself in the group. All my knowledge doesn't mean anything when it reaches that one law of love. Your friend is yourself. That's what we have to yearn for. That's how we have to reach what good is, what bad is. Everything about that plea in our life, so we as a group can. Well, in the end, we'll never go back. We never retreat. We just keep attacking our Pharaoh. Good morning, world. We came to a conclusion that Pharaoh is necessary for us. That's one. He also comes from the Creator. Secondly, we have to make the friends great and null before them, and only in such a way we can show, meaning we can raise a prayer to the Creator that he will lead us and take us to Pharaoh. And the Creator is the one who needs to fight Pharaoh and not something else. And our role is to raise a prayer and as you said, always be in the attack. Thank you. Like we were saying in the 10 first, Sparrow is our friend. We are only connected to him to the ego. That's all. We have 7 years of fulfillment. We get all the pleasures and benefits of the ego. Then gradually we invite the upper light, the surrounding light, and our connection with the Creator strengthens. Then we discover that Pharaoh is actually the evil one holding us in Egypt in the slavery of the ego and won't let us develop. Then the closer we come to the Creator, the connection with Pharaoh disconnects. Yeah, we want to express our gratitude to the great friends from Amarty. You filled us with awareness and vitality to come on to Pharaoh. We really felt and understand very deeply that this is really the work in our 10 to reveal the evil Pharaoh and that we need him in order to reveal the Creator. So thank you very much. We came to a conclusion, but it's scary to reveal Pharaoh. But the more we come closer to the goal, we'll discover the Creator. So we started talking about what to do in order to not be afraid. We reached the conclusion that we have to increase the degree of connection between us and between us to go to the Creator through Pharaoh, together to take the Creator with us, and to see that the more we are, the more we're connected, it becomes easier to go to Pharaoh and to be happy that we're revealing the evil. That's why we decided in this Passover to unite into the women's Kli and attack every day and reach the Creator through Pharaoh. Yes, we want to thank Ali for giving us a very important lesson, and following that we decided to ask ourselves today in that and what prevents us from connecting. Where is Pharaoh hiding in the tin when? And we want to characterize it so it's very clear, and then we'll also know what kind of help we need to ask for. Hello friends, hello world. We had a scrutiny in the 10s about Pharaoh, and we decided that for now, as long as we're in Egypt, working for Pharaoh, so we have good relationships with him. He treats us nicely, but when we want to come out of Egypt, so he wants to destroy us, and we see that it's our enemy, and only the Creator can help us. We're sure we can overcome Pharaoh to a new degree, and obviously with the help of the Creator, with the help of our prayers. Yes, friends, we felt great envy in the 10 here looking at the work from Ali. With this lesson, we thank them for the desire to join us and to incorporate with us in this process they went through, and just all the 3 parts of the lesson today kind of merged to one where our entire work is to reach adhesion with the Creator, and as we do, that we'll discover the love between us, and that's what will attract us and glue us to the goal. Thank you everyone. We feel you be dear friends. We feel the love. We feel our soul, and now the soul is smiling. We can see it through the screens. We're happy. We got such a happy part before us. We have 7 days before us of coming out of self-love. And most important is that none of us are alone. Nobody's alone. I have my soul with me. All of me will always be with me. It's written on my phone too. And we're happy to keep rejoicing these 7 days, day and night with all the friends, day and night in happiness. All these 7 days will rejoice like says. That's our task for all the days that are coming towards us. So we're giving gratitude to the Creator together for helping us connect and feel our soul going into one field of love. Info. We move to info. Hello friends. So remember there's a 10 Congress that will happen a little over while after Passover, and it'll be from the May 29th through 31st. It's happening. We wanted to mention a few things before we dive into Passover and to everything that comes right after. So part of the content team here is and Sergi from Belva Group are also with us. They can't be in this room right now, but we are together thinking about it, working on it. We have a few things to share with you before we enter Passover. Yeah, this Congress is a 10s Congress, going deeper into the 10, and we are going to scrutinize very strongly what a 10 even is. What does it mean to go deep into the 10? Is our 10 truly a 10? There will be a lot of questions, very deep questions. Lately, I've mentioned the topic of the head of the 10. There's a lot of things to scrutinize and things that we want to come out of this Congress stronger with. And these days will help us go even deeper and to so increase the connection between us and go deeper in it and feel how we are all 110. It will need a lot of work for it. A lot of self-work in the tense. It's the most independent Congress we ever had in Bino, so let's think about it real well. And think about it and prepare, because we're going to get all of the forces for this, and to that extent we'll get a reward for it. And the Congress will begin with Thursday. It will be a common meeting. We'll start from a preparation for attacking in the Congress, then we'll go deep into 3 days of Congress, and on Friday we will go into a connection between the friends in the second day. Saturday we'll focus more on annulment and incorporation in the 10, and on Sunday, the last day, we'll arrive at a connection of love and making a covenant and revealing the Creator between us. Throughout the Congress, we will have some mutual lessons where we will watch together. Special lessons from Rob. There will be live parts where the 10s will be the presenters, and in those moments we'll speak together and we'll do some connecting discussions that are practical and relevant to the life of the 10. For example, do we really work as a 10? What motivates us? What's our fuel in our common work? How will we see the Creator behind each and every friend? What is our next step in the tent? And also, how do we maintain an even stronger commitment after a Congress? And that is also an opportunity. It's an opportunity to encourage 10s who wish to be active in the Congress to present, to prepare and present some of the lessons or the lesson preparations. There aren't many opportunities during this Congress, so it'll be tense. There are very few, just a handful that will be chosen to give the preparation or the lesson a part of their lesson. It's a very special thing to give a lesson. Hosts present a lesson to everyone. The 10s are invited, the men 10s from all over the world for that. Yes, Leo, I want to really, before we leave, to try and give you the importance of this Congress. I'm in the 10. I'm lucky to be in the 10 that already has been out for many times. We went out for a 3-day trip before last Congress, and it wasn't just to be together. Let's just hang out. It's something that defines the tent. It's something that has a whole new degree of the tent. It brings you out to a new degree. We could scrutinize things that we never could. We work with the vessels of the with annulment and greatness and serving each other, and it makes everything very practical. In a way, like said, that it was never that way before. And we're inviting every 10 to prepare for this before we go into Passover, because there's logistic issues, so not forget about it. If you need to rent a place, find the dates for it, do it. If you need to make a list of gear or something, logistics to do, so do it, that you won't have to deal with it. That too is power of preparation, right? So again, the fact that the 10s are preparing a whole Congress for themselves, whether it's 12 hours or 24 hours or 48 or 72 hours, the fact that the 10 is preparing everything of the Congress, it builds a tent. It becomes like a microcosmos of the whole creation. Everything is in there. You'll see, so it's going to be amazing. Just remember, put it on the calendar, that it's happening. We'll go into Passover and then go out into the 10th Congress. Yes, thank you to the content team for the Congress and Ali 1. Thank you very much.